Hello and welcome to another edition of The Pastor's Heart. Today I'd like to talk with you about the family. During the school year, we host here at Fellowship Church a ministry called Mastering Motherhood. And it's an incredible ministry. It's a ministry that ministers to mamas. And, um, and I, it's a place where they can come and they can feel special for just a couple of hours once a week. And we put a lot of time into it. We spend a lot of time making sure that the building looks good, that everything is clean and it's attractive, and it's set up well. And we have incredible leadership. We make sure that the children that we have good childcare for them, so the children have a good time as well. And it's a ministry, it's a program, and you all know I'm not big into programs. This is one that I think is absolutely vital. And the reason for that is because our society has been working so hard to undermine the family. And it's done so two ways. First of all, it has minimized the importance of the mom. Now, I know that in this world today, that for many it's impossible to have a stay-at-home mom. And so please do not hear me slamming that. Throughout most of my children's growing up, as a pastor, I have never made enough money. I pastor small churches that if Jane didn't work, we weren't going to eat. So I'm not saying that you have to be a stay-at-home mom. But I am saying that moms are vital. Moms are absolutely crucial to the development of children. And our society has worked really hard to undermine, to minimize the importance of moms in the life of their family. Women, for the most part, this is a general statement. General statements are generally true. They are the ones who tend to be more nurturing. They're the ones, especially when children are younger, that they have a patience that men just don't have. And I'm going to say, at least that's been my experience. And little girls learn how to treat others, and especially how to treat men, by watching how mom interacts with dad. And so they also learn how to be a godly woman. You'll see that daughters tend to emulate their moms, and they tend to mimic them when they're younger, because in this they're learning how to be treated by men. They're learning how to treat others, and it's an incredible learning time. But it's not also just for the girls. Moms are absolutely crucial for boys as well. That boys learn and men learn. They learn their confidence, and they get their confidence from their relationship with mom. Because you see, mom is that safe person that they can learn how to flirt with, that they can learn how to be charming with, if you will. And so that bond between a mother and a son is absolutely incredible. This is that safe place. This is where boys can learn how to be men and how to treat others, and they practice that on their moms. But yet, on the other side, we find that fatherhood is also under attack. And I would actually argue it's been under attack longer than what moms have been. Just think about how many times do you think of in a sitcom, for example, really since the 80s, where the husband was not some sort of a buffoon or something, and that he was, as a father, that he was a joke. And so, or that they have been demasculinized or something, taken away the masculinity. We talk about, toxic masculinity. I still have absolutely no idea what that means. But of a point of men are not supposed to be protectors, that women don't need men. We hear that. I've heard that over and over again, that you don't need a father. The government took the place of the father in the 70s and the 80s. And so you had this war against the parents, but yet the father is absolutely crucial as well, because you see, sons, they learn how to, first of all, be treated by women by watching how their mother treats their father, but they also learn how to treat women by spending time and watching their father and how their father interacts with their mother and how he interacts with his daughters. It's an incredible learning learning institution, I guess, that God set up. But it's in the family. This family is absolutely crucial for the development of our society. And I don't think I don't think it's an accident that the breakdown of society has mirrored and gone right alongside with the war against the family. And so that now you maybe watch this and you say, but Dan, I didn't grow up in a good family. My father, my mother, whoever was, they were not a good role model. Well, in this, I want to encourage you, especially if you're in the church today, is that every person on the planet learns one of two ways. We learn either by comparison or we learn by contrast. Now, I hope and I pray that my children have learned about how to be a godly parent, a godly man, godly woman, by comparison, by seeing that, hey, this is what my parents have done. I want my boys to say, this is how my father has treated my mother, and therefore it's natural for me to treat my spouse the same way, or for my daughter to see how her mother treated her father and say, hey, this is what it means to be a godly woman. So I pray that there's a comparison there. But again, that's not always the case. That wasn't the case in my life. And so we learn by contrast as well. And so sometimes this may be our family of origin where we know what we don't want to be like. I don't doubt the fact that my father loved me, but he was not a good father to me. He wasn't a good role model, if you will. And so I knew what I didn't want to be. I didn't want to be like him. And so I looked around for a comparison. I had my contrast. Now I'm looking for a comparison. And most of you know that my Uncle Jack, he filled that void for me, and he was that comparison. So when I was looking at what does it mean to be a godly man, what does it mean to be an honorable man, he was the one that I would he was the standard for me. Now, he wasn't perfect. But I mean, none of us are, but he was an incredible role model, and he was a perfect uncle for Dan Earhart. I do appreciate that. And so I've been told by my cousins that I walk like my uncle, I talk like my uncle. I ended up marrying my Aunt Adele. My wife Jane has a lot more in common with my Aunt Adele than what she does with my mother. I watched their marriage. I watched how they interacted, and I said, this is what I want to be like. And this is something that if you are in the church, that you have an incredible opportunity to maybe be that comparison for somebody in your church who may be coming, who don't have anything good that they can look at in their past, and their family of origin is the contrast. And I am blessed. I've talked about this before, that in many churches that I went to, my parents did not attend church with me. And so I was able to find these incredibly godly men that I was able to look at, and these marriages that I would watch and see, what does it mean to have a marriage that lasts? And especially a marriage that's been together for 50 years, 60 years, to see how did they make it work? And I could learn from them, and that was my comparison. And so as the world is trying to tear the family down, I would pray that in the church that we would build the family up. And so what that means is that if you are an older couple, if you've been married for 30 years, 25, 30, 40 years, and if you have young families or young couples in your church, come alongside them. It doesn't have to be formal, but just build that relationship. Let them see that there is hope out there, and so they can be that comparison for them, that they would be able to look at, what does it mean? You could come alongside with their children, because many times couples who don't have a good comparison, their family of origin, they also don't want those people to be a comparison for their children either. So you can be that surrogate, if you will, grandchild for that family. And that is something that God has set up that's unique to the Christian church, is that because we have been called to live in relationship with each other. And so I just want you to think about the incredible opportunity that we have, that in shaping entire lineages and entire legacies, that we can break patterns of sin that have been going on for, in some cases, for generations, just by being that comparison that somebody can look to on what does it mean to be a godly man, a godly woman, a godly father, a godly wife and mother. And so I pray that you are encouraged by these words. I pray that you really take them to heart, and that if in your church Please celebrate our moms, celebrate our dads, especially those who are who are walking in those roles and working together to see their children come to know Jesus better. And for those who are struggling, come alongside, not in browbeating ways, but come alongside and let them know that, hey, I care, and let them know that, hey, I'm there for you. And so I pray that, again, that you are encouraged. I pray that as you gather with your siblings in Christ this week, that you have an amazing time in God's presence. And I look forward to seeing you again in a future video. God bless y'all.